The fort was begun in 1819 and named for President James Monroe. It remained in possession of the Union forces, 1861 to 65, and from it as a base McClellan began the Peninsular Campaign, 1862. Jefferson Davis was imprisoned here, 1865 to 67. Fort Monroe is the largest stone fort ever built in the United States. But in 2005, the Base Realignment and Closure Commission of the Department of Defense recommended its closure, and Fort Monroe ceased to be an Army post in 2011, and Fort Monroe was proclaimed a national monument. The Lincoln gun was cast in 1860. This was the first 15-inch Rodman gun. Its range is more than 4 miles. The weight of the projectile is over 300 pounds. During the Civil War, it was used to bombard Confederate batteries on Sewell's Point. The gun was named for President Lincoln in 1862. During the Civil War, the Lincoln gun was on the beach near the old Point Comfort Lighthouse. Besides bombarding Confederate batteries on Sewell's Point, it also guarded Hampton roads from the Confederate ironclad CSS Virginia. After the Battle of Hampton Roads in 1862, the War Department renamed it the Lincoln gun. The Lincoln gun is a massive 15-inch Rodman smoothbore cannon. It weighs almost 50,000 pounds. This gun is displayed on the south end of the parade ground at Fort Monroe National Monument in Hampton, Virginia. Fort Monroe Quarters, Number 1. In this house, President Lincoln stayed during his visit of May 6 through the 11th, 1862. It was here that President Lincoln, General Wool, and Commodore Goldsborough planned the attack on Norfolk, Virginia. Quarters Number 1 at Fort Monroe is the oldest building inside the fort's stone walls. It was built in 1819. At the beginning of the Civil War in 1861, Major General Benjamin Butler used the building as his command center. After the Civil War, the building was designated as a residence and headquarters for Fort Monroe's commanding officer until 1917, when Fort Monroe went on war footing during World War I. The Old Cistern Marker. One of several large cisterns shown on a map of 1834. No potable water was ever found on Old Point Comfort, although one well was sunk to more than 900 feet. The garrison had to depend on cistern water and water brought in from wells on the mainland. During the Civil War, Fort Monroe suffered from a severe lack of fresh water. Its shallow wells and rain cisterns could not support the sudden influx of thousands of arriving Union troops, wounded soldiers, and freedom-seeking escaped slaves. This scarcity forced federal forces into a small-scale tactical invasion across Mill Creek to secure mainland wells, as deep underground drilling stubbornly yielded only hypersaline saltwater. Old Point Comfort Light. The lighthouse, built in 1802, is the oldest standing structure at Fort Monroe. It remains an active navigational aid, the property of the U.S. Coast Guard. During the War of 1812, the tower was used as a lookout by a British invasion force while they attacked Washington. The adjacent house was the lightkeeper's quarters until the light was automated in 1973 when the house became Army property. The 54-foot-tall white octagonal lighthouse has a spiral staircase that leads to the top. When it first went into operation in 1802, there were 10 oil lanterns that burned 500 gallons of oil a year. In the 1800s, sailors could see the oil lanterns up to 14 miles out to sea to guide the ships into Hampton Roads. The stories of those who served on these grounds are etched into the eternal silence of history.